public support traveling to Georgia Thursday and Illinois Friday. In Washington, Craig Boswell, Fox News.
Alabama Congressman Robert Aderholt was in the chamber for last night's speech. He joins us now live from Washington. Congressman, last night we heard the president several times saying, "We can get it done." What do you think? Was there anything in the president's speech that you think Democrats and Republicans can agree on?
Well, there was maybe a few things. I think most things that the president talked about was no real surprise. I think a lot of it was from his past administration. But one thing, if I could pull anything out, U.S. manufacturing, to increase that is certainly something I think most Americans agree with, most Alabamians agree with, and that we do need to bring more manufacturing jobs to the United States. So this is something I think we can agree on. Now, how we go about doing that may be a different story, but I think a lot of members were encouraged last night in some ways, but also they were discouraged in so many other ways, because the president was basically saying, this is what I want to see done, and if you don't do it, then I'll do it unilaterally myself. And I think that didn't go over with most members of Congress very well. So I think overall people were a lot of frustration, especially on the Republican side of the aisle, that the president didn't reach out more.
Of course, one of the emotional topics last night was bringing up gun control. The president saying that the victims of gun violence deserve a vote on the issue. What's your response to that, to bringing the issue to a vote?
Well, as far as the legislation, it goes to the Senate first, and there's real concern of whether there'll even be legislation that'll come out of the Senate. And as you know, the Democrats control, the president's own party controls the Senate, but I'm not even sure that they'll be able to get a bill out of the Senate, much less the House. So, you know, I'm a very strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I think it's important that people have the right to bear arms, and I think that's vitally important. And so I think you've got a lot of members that feel the same way and are very reluctant to start chipping away with the Second Amendment rights.
One last question very quickly. What's your response to his call for raising the minimum wage to $9?
Well, you know, everybody, I think, agrees that people need to be paid fairly. But I think most employers want to pay their employees fairly. But as has already been stated, there's so many jobs that, you know, employers will simply do away with if they are forced to increase the minimum wage. I'm thinking of a lot of fast food restaurants where there's a lot of teenagers that work here in high school, and they simply will not be hiring. So they will just be hiring less people. So I think if you want to increase employment, raising the minimum wage to that level is not the thing to do at this point.
All right. Congressman Robert Aderholt, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.